Hello and welcome to this extra special bonus episode of Sneak Attack.
Yeah.
My name is Reed. I'm your host and kind of guide through this bonus episode here. To my left, we have...
I'm Josh, and I'm on the journey.
I'm
one of the passengers.
We're all on this journey together.
Yeah. I'm the guy wearing cargo shorts.
Ooh.
I have Crocs on, white Crocs.
Seems like a bad thing.
To show where I've been.
Oh, it's just like jet black
pick up
soles.
Everything, yeah. And then Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, vacation,
yes.
Josh.
And and one of those woven fedoras.
Whoa!
I get you know what I mean, like a straw hat kind of
Miami fedora.
Heck yeah, with a little red ring around it. I am in. Okay. Let's go, tour guide. So I'm gonna take pictures.
First off, I have to say thank you, everyone, for just letting us have a little bit of a break during this between season 2 and 3 of Sneak Attack. It is always very appreciated to be able to take just a little bit of reprieve, reassess, kind of figure out where we want the next season to go, and really just major beats to hit for this next story arc. So
this is our third break in the whole of Sneak Attack.
That is correct.
Wow.
Our first one was considerably longer.
Well, our first one was like we almost all died.
Yeah.
So that was like we'll come back when we feel like we can.
Right. Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, we had our break between Volume 1 and Volume 2, which was very long. I think like 4 or 5 months. Then we had our break between Season 1 of Volume 2 and Season 2, and that was last time. And now we're at Season 2 and Season 3. And been very good.
Yeah, I feel like the rhythm we're getting is fairly good.
Yeah. I'm feeling pretty positive about it. So if you remember last seasonal break, we did this fun thing where we had 2 little bonus episodes for you. One of them was a history of the Brax, which was very fun.
Dude.
And the other was Ethan's character episode.
Yeah, it's where we learned about the real Ethan Cole.
About the real Ethan, who Danny is not playing.
And Augustus Gloop.
That is not his name.
What is his real name?
Russell.
Oh. Why'd I want to call him Augustus?
That is his first name.
Oh. Augustus Russell.
Yeah, but there's also like 5 middle names.
I really wish his name was Augustus Rustus, because that would be a lot more fun to say.
But that would make no sense.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so...
Or a Gussel Russell. You know what I mean?
Oh, like a Gussel. I think you should pitch that.
Okay.
You should call up Danny and be like, hey, I got an idea for your character.
Great idea.
A Gussel, and then hang up the phone. So what we're doing today is the Terrelian character lore episode.
I'm pumped.
So not many people know that much about the Terrelians. That's a little bit intentional.
We haven't seen this race. We've seen this race less than any other race, I think.
That sounds accurate.
Braxton is a Terrelian.
Braxton McClaris is a Terrelian. That is correct.
Is he the only character we've had actual major interaction with that's been a Terrelian?
I want to say, you remember Gloria on the Chancellor's planet?
Oh, yes.
Was she a Bacarian or was she a Terrelian? Because I kind of made her up on the spot.
Gosh, I don't know.
I made her up on the spot.
Probably Terrelian. I bet it was, because you were probably itching to put another one in there.
I think so. The fans will correct me either way.
Yeah. But either way, we've seen other races quite a bit more, even the ones that we aren't playing.
Correct. You've seen a handful of Bacarians already.
Yeah, Praetorians.
A lot of Praetorians. Yep. But yeah, not a lot of Terrelians, and there's a reason for that. So,
let's get into it.
Why? Yeah, when we dive into this, it's going to be kind of just me talking a lot, but also Josh is here because A, I like Josh being around, and B, Josh represents you guys, because I figure if Josh has a question, then the audience probably has a question. So it's really great to bounce this conversation off of him and help expound upon this a little bit further.
I feel like my relationship with the fans has come to such a place where they no longer care if I show up. Not that they don't care if I show up.
That's interesting.
But you know how if Mike shows up, everyone's like, oh, Mike, blah, blah, blah. You know, Kelsey, Kelsey, blah, blah. It's like, oh, hey, Josh is here. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm just another fan now.
What if it's because you're a constant?
Maybe.
You know, because Kelsey with the live stream, she's like Haley's Comet.
Right.
Just,
oh, man.
And everyone is so awed by the presence. When
it's just a spam of Kelsey's in all caps.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's because I'm a fan. Since day one,
that's true.
I have been a fan of our content. In the first year we produced it, I I edited it, and I would listen to it.
Yeah. It'd be like, all right, time to see what happens this week.
Here we go. Like,
even though I was there and I've heard this before.
Like, I remember that part. And like, so I was like an expert on Sneak Attack Volume 1 just because I adored it and I was editing. And I still adore a podcast. And so I like to think that I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I kind of get this like honorary fan at the table seat for the most part. Okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's...
You're like their representative.
Yes. Like I feel like I'm the sneaky one that got in at the very beginning.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Everyone else is like, I wish I could be at the table. I'm the guy who's like, I did too. And I am. You know what I mean?
I do. So. Okay. So for the Brax, what I did is I broke down their history into like 3 different distinct sections.
Okay.
The Terrelians aren't nearly as easy to do that way because the Terrelians don't actually know the origin of their own species.
Ooh.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of unique.
Forgotten history.
A little bit so. And so Terrelians, they first appeared in the galactic scene in 850 BCE. That's before the current era. And
I love how straightforward that is.
Yeah, I mean, not everything needs to be like, super cryptic.
Yeah.
So
there's not some like ancient space hero that the dates are created around.
Nope.
Just before the current era.
And the current era is defined as the founding of the Terran Union. Okay. So anything before that is kind of just like lawlessness and terrible.
Okay.
But year 1 of the current era that's when the Terran Union was founded.
Okay.
And like there was like peace amongst all the races. So
peace among worlds.
Peace between worlds. So the Terrelians, they showed up at around 850 BC, or BCE. They were discovered outside of the Praetorian system. The Praetorians picked them up and were the ones that made first contact with them. And you'd say like,
poor people.
How are they discovered? Just hanging around outside the Praetorian system because they don't have a homeworld either.
So they're in ships.
Their homeworld, their entire system,
their civilization,
all their civilization is on ships.
Really?
They sail around the galaxy.
So wait, did they all just wake up in ships one day?
No. Well, not that you know.
Are we going to learn?
Maybe. Yes.
Okay.
I would like to.
I won't. Okay. Well, we'll get there.
I would like to. So, but yeah, they've always been on ships, but history to the Terrelians was never really that important. I kind of consider them like elves. In terms of just like their demeanor, they're very
removed.
You can't really read their facial expressions very well. Stoic would be a great way to describe them.
Arrogant? Are they arrogant? I always feel like elves are kind of arrogant.
Elves definitely give off the arrogant vibe, and I feel like it's the immortality or like the long life thing. It's just like you're all worrying about this, and I'm gonna live past. I'm gonna live tenfold past this moment, but. The Terrelians, they don't have that luxury, but it was just never a concern of them. They just always been, they never really cared about documenting or really like what their purpose was. And they were just kind of drifting.
Interesting.
Until they discovered other species. Then,
so they were traveling for a long time in space alone.
Never knowing that anyone else was out there, really.
That's interesting.
And so they would, just drift all around the galaxy until one day someone found them.
For my own timeline mind.
Yep.
In the podcast, what year is it in the current era?
Oh boy. I'd say close between 400 and 500 current era.
Okay, so this actually isn't like super, super, super long ago.
About 1,200 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's a long time, but like in the span of like, like we're our world at least it's 2000 AD, right? So like we know
recorded history is between 6,000 and 10,000 years. Yeah.
So in that perspective, it's not like crazy.
No, very very short amount of time. Okay. I would say
they're fairly prominent for like having been so. Right? Like, are they prominent? I guess I don't know. Let's keep listening.
Let's keep going. So, I will say, like, all of recorded history in the Arrowhead Galaxy is just around 2,000 years.
Okay.
All of recorded history.
Okay. All recorded, like, universal space history?
Yeah, so the earliest recorded like historical artifacts of any civilization is the Praetorians.
Okay.
And that's kind of what's defined as like, the starting point of BCE. I think it's like 1300 or 1200 BCE.
Okay.
And then it moves backwards from there, towards
Just
year zero.
Antiquity. Yeah.
So really the first time that Terrelians came on the scene was when they were near the fringe of the Koros system, which is the home to the Praetorians, and a Praetorian scouting expedition picked up this Terrelian broadcast, and their fleet is called the Great Armada.
So they do roll up like together.
Yeah. Oh, they're always traveling together, and with the Praetorians, they fired back a transmission. They're going like, "Hey, this is weird. We picked up something." Fired something back, and sure enough, they formed the first ever. That was first contact
for both of their species.
For both species. Praetorians did not know that any other species existed.
So they're based. So those two, the Praetorians and the Terrelians, are the founders of intergalactic relations.
That is correct. They're the originators,
at least within the Arrowhead Galaxy.
That's correct.
Wow.
And so the tensions were high. There was a lot of sudden life-altering information.
Right.
Like for every party involved.
Worldviews get flipped upside down.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
people are scared, scientists are excited.
Absolutely. Luckily,
generals want to fire missiles.
No, thankfully, level heads prevailed.
Okay.
And they made first contact. They met on the Terrelian fleet, and they signed what was known as the Ember Siege Accords. They were formed, and they were named for the leader of the Terrelian Admiralty at that time.
I was going to ask if Ember Siege was a person.
Yes. Yep. He was like so. All the ships have their own captain, and those captains form the Admiralty.
Ooh, I like that.
And so there's one head, usually voted upon, or just like one of the most tenure, who was kind of representing all Terrelians.
Somewhat democratic, somewhat imperialistic. Like,
definitely, I'd say definitely democratic.
Okay.
But owning a ship in Terrelian culture is like the biggest honor you can have.
Okay.
And we'll get on with that a little bit.
Right.
We'll get on with that a little bit later. So the Ember
Stay tuned to find out.
Yeah, the Ember Siege Accords was agreed upon by both parties, and which it dictated that should any party find further sentient life during their expeditions, that a peaceful first contact would be attempted before any active aggression.
Wow.
So neither of these two knew at the time, but this would kind of form the basis of the Terran Union itself. They decided, hey, we're not going to just be aggressors. We want to put the best foot forward, representing the galaxy, representing our people, and yeah, they decided in that moment we're going to be cool about it, which very surprising, but very, very good for all people.
It makes sense in my mind that civilizations that were faster than others to space travel would likely be more curious than aggressive.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's even represented in what we talked about in the Brax history, because the Brax are very late joiners to the galactic table.
Yes.
And the first thing they wanted to do is like, holy crap, we need to attack these things. Like, I'm freaking out. And when they learned that they'd been duped, then they literally went on a killing spree. Yeah. That was just their mentality. And like, they felt like they were taken advantage of, like they were at the kiddie table and abused by these, higher functioning beings for all they knew. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like the Terrelians and the Praetorians both are really set that tone of like, hey, we are the first, so far as we know. We need to make sure that we
set like a standard.
Yeah, and as because if one other species is out there, you have to think another is.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
It's
your world, like you said, your worldview just opens up so dramatically.
Yeah, at that point, it's like it's not a matter of if there are, it's how many others there are.
And so, I think just setting that tone was important to both of them. And so, while first contact was a hugely momentous day for all species, it kind of served as this bitter reminder to the Terrelians of everything they didn't have, and that's a homeworld, really something to call their own. Terrelians have I would say, a delicate biology, not nearly as delicate as like Bacarians, but they have a very specific set of circumstances that allows them to survive in the wild.
Okay.
Bacarians, they can live almost anywhere, but they just are really sensitive to toxins in the air. But Terrelians, they had a really specific set of criteria.
Really?
Yeah. So, because they're kind of lizard-like, they're I wouldn't call them cold-blooded, but they're definitely not like warm-blooded. So, proximity to the sun, atmospheric composition, and like atmosphere levels, like ozone density and stuff like that.
We're talking Terrelians?
Terrelians.
So, okay, I'm curious. Mm-hmm. If they're a spacefaring civilization, but they need proximity to a sun. That would make space travel hard.
Now, right? like long-term survival. They have like climate control. You know, they can arrange the climate of their ships. Yeah,
I see.
Like prolonged exposure outside, outdoors, or on a a organic environment definitely needs to fall within certain parameters.
Like the healthy parameters of on a habitable planet are there. They have to be more picky.
Exactly. Yep.
I gotcha.
So like Earth, for example, where we are, we've found like less than a dozen what scientists call like Earth analogs. Yep. Something that has similar composition to Earth, and none of them are in our system. None of them are even in adjacent systems.
What do they call it? They call it a Goldilocks planet, right? Like this one's just right. Perfect, the perfect space to the sun, perfect rotation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And ideally atmospheric composition as well. That's one of the most important things is there any atmosphere at all that we can breathe? Mm-hmm. And so for the Terrelians, that ratio of getting all the things just right, that Venn diagram, even finer. Yeah. So really difficult for them. And that's kind of, I think for them, since they don't even know their own history, they don't know their own origin, they were just content. Like they're like, this is life. Why? Like we don't know anything different.
Yeah.
We have families and community kind of, but it's always like at a distance.
Okay. I'm already making speculations.
Okay. Awesome. But the first time they met the Praetorians and they saw these Praetorian cities and they were like thriving communities with commerce and entertainment and government, it was just kind of like this is what we're missing.
There's another thing out there.
Right. Like we had no idea. And I mean, imagine like seeing in black and white all your life and then, taking the blinders off like Wizard of Oz. And all of a sudden you're like, holy smokes.
There's color.
There's color everywhere. Yeah. I want this.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of, in that moment, kind of became like the society of the Terrelians' collective goal is like, I want this for us.
Yeah,
I don't want their thing. It's not like I'm going to kill them and take it.
I want to know how we would do this.
Yeah, I want for my people what they have.
Yeah.
And so
I'm curious, as a DM, Reed, do you know what happened?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm already speculating in my mind, and I would like to share some before we end.
Okay.
But we can keep going. I don't want to derail.
So during the first introduction with the Praetorians, we said, Terrelian leadership discovered all these different things that they didn't know they wanted, but also they learned something new about themselves. And
that's interesting because they don't know what they're like in that kind of a society.
Yeah, I mean, again, you have nothing to compare your own species or your own people against.
Yeah,
and so all of a sudden you've got all this outside data.
It's like when we discovered flight.
Sure.
It's like there's a whole new thing we can do.
Yeah.
And how it changes us as a society.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the internet.
Huge, big example of that.
Yeah.
So what they discovered during these negotiations and during all this like first contact is that they had an uncanny way of capturing an audience.
Really?
So like people, for whatever reason, they were entranced when they talked.
Okay.
Like, and not just casual form of like conversational etiquette. Like, oh yes, tell me about your day. Ooh, very exciting. You like going to movies. Wow, such an interesting person. It was for some reason like it was almost like a spell they cast over them. There's nothing magical about it, but it's just for like the way they speak. and once languages were kind of established, but it's like the way they speak and the way they communicate and their mannerisms was almost like a dance to the Praetorians. It was like there was a conversational sort of art form.
Yeah,
and this charm and like allure created a sense of trust within like the receiver.
That feels very elf-like.
Yeah,
that feels very like
yeah. And so, but like it immediately put the Praetorians at ease, not like lowered their guard, but they were just like, okay, like I'm already friendly with them. I want to be their friend.
Well, and the Terrelians don't know these people. So like, there's no way that they could be doing this maliciously at first, at the very least. You know what I mean? Like they're just communicating and the Praetorians are being wooed.
Yeah.
Like it's not like they could have known they would have wooed them.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I doubt that they would understand beforehand like that they had that kind of influence.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
You know what I mean?
No,
without another species,
right? And that's the whole thing. Is like, you know, it would be just like all of a sudden discovering a new language. Like, you and I were speaking English, everything's fine, and then someone else comes in, and we're just like, whoa, what is that? I'm curious by it. I don't quite understand it, but I'm very intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Or like showing off a brand new skill or invention is just such a foreign concept to them, and so. The Terrelians, they kind of figured out that this is an opportunity for them to kind of like plant their flag in galactic, like at I say at the galactic table, but just like really set this thing as their own. They can be a group of people that almost like acts as intermediaries for people.
Oh,
and so
ambassadors.
They started really becoming like the first ambassadors between species. So the Praetorians pretty much discovered everybody. That's just kind of their thing. They've always been at the very forefront of space flight, space exploration. And so the Praetorians were the ones who discovered almost every other species out there.
Yeah.
The Brax, the Ardent, all that jazz. And so with the relationship that the Terrelians and the Praetorians formed, the Terrelians were always kind of just like piggybacking off that. So that information was getting shared, and then the Terrelians would step in and they would start brokering these arrangements. They brokering these deals between the Praetorians and other races. So that's how kind of these Ember Siege accords kind of like started to spread and become
kind of like
more
a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And but there was also a little bit of a ulterior motive in it for the Terrelians, because they discovered that as a people, now that they have this burning desire to have a home world and a place to plant roots and like grow as an actual species and community, they can use the opportunity to go out on these individual ambassadorial missions as a way of like scouting out other opportunities around the galaxy.
Interesting.
So they're meeting random colonies. They're meeting brand new planets, brand new systems, and every time documenting. And I think this started like kickstarting their scientific curiosity. Beforehand, like you said, they weren't very curious. They just kind of said, this is our life. This is our situation. We're not upset about it at all. This is who we are.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, when the veil comes off and all these things become made aware to them, all of a sudden, all these different curiosities start triggering inside some of the academics and these people that are the dreamers of the Terrelians.
Yeah.
And so the scouts went out, serving as ambassadors, serving as intermediaries. The most famous one, of course, being the one between the Brax and the Praetorians.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were still super interconnected as a society.
The Terrelians?
Yeah.
They always traveled together.
So like if there was a Terrelian ambassador, they were tied to the Admiralty.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll explain why that's the case, but Terrelians, for the most part, never leave their fleet.
Really?
Never. And I'll explain why in a little bit. So the most famous instance of a Terrelian acting as ambassador, like brokering a deal between species, is when June Mentoso, who is one of the most famous Terrelians in all of recorded history, brokered the deal between the Praetorians and the Brax that gave up the Brax's land. I part of me wants to believe that June didn't know what they were doing. But
didn't know that the Praetorians were going to like just
destroy the planet.
On the planet.
Yeah. But at the same time, I also don't feel like June cared that much. That's just kind of like That's just, I don't know. It's funny because I write these characters, I write these stories, and I think like, I wonder what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But I define that, but I still feel like, I wonder what their intention was. Were they being honest? That's just my decision.
So is he known infamously for that, or just like, how do the Terrelians view that deal as like a freaking amazing thing?
The Terrelians do. The Bracks do not. The Bracks would not be fans of that guy.
Yeah. So I imagine in general the Bracks aren't probably big fans of the Terrelians or the Praetorians.
Yeah. There's which is funny because
authority problem.
Your backstory of being
very different
is very different than the normal Bracks, and that's again something our listeners can look forward to.
Well, and I like, that's one of the things I like listening to you lay all this stuff out. My mind immediately goes to like, you're giving us the societal growth and giving it like, they wanted this, they wanted that. But as any good D&D player knows, like within the they, there are little tiny dots of individuals.
Absolutely.
Feel differently. And you can start to extrapolate interesting character arcs from where they agree with the way the society was moving or they disagree with the society.
Well, the most interesting characters are the ones that break conventional norms.
Yeah.
So I think that's a perfect spot to be in. And so, that was just kind of where the Bracks operated for a really long time. And that period of time from when they first were discovered as a species.
The Terrelians.
Yeah, the Terrelians, to kind of this idea of scouting out, looking for a new homeworld to call their own, but then also acting as all these intermediaries. That was known as the Mariner's Lament. That's just kind of like what they call it, because happy to be sailing, but sad that we don't have a destination.
Yeah.
So the last kind of part of their history, which is still ongoing today, that's almost like the renaissance of scientific discovery, because like I said, scientific curiosity kind of kickstarted itself in that period of the Mariner's Lament. But also something else a little unfortunate started happening. And the space on these ships started getting more and more sparse.
Oh, because people were leaving.
On the Terrelian fleet. No. It's like less available.
Oh, the space became sparse.
Yeah, they were filling them up with people.
Oh, like other races?
Other Terrelians. They can reproduce.
They're just growing as a society.
They're just growing. And we're
building new ships.
There's a finite amount of resources and a finite amount of space on this fleet. And so around let me get the exact date here.
It's so interesting. I feel like humans, at least the ones on our planet, the way that we are in IRL, like the minute we found like other planets and things, I feel like the space travel would have like died down very quickly as we kind of like just settled in and found new things and started, building houses and claiming land or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's interesting to me that maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it's interesting that their response at the new information of all that is they're looking for home world, but it's like that they didn't have like mass groups, just an exodus. You know what I mean?
I think Terrelians are very community driven, very, very focused on the group, not the individual. If something benefits one person or a small group of people, but the majority, they will never take the side that benefits the individual. They're always so focused on them as a people, their entire advancement, their entire collective growth. And
is that like utilitarian kind of?
I think that's part of it, like birds fly together type of thing.
Yeah.
Very rarely during migrations do you see just a random bird. Mm-hmm. I think it's a strength in numbers kind of thing. It's just I kind of still locked in that, entrenched in that mentality of like, this is how we've always done it. Why change?
Right on.
But I think that's just kind of where their head is at. But with that mentality came, the lack of resources to sustain a growing population.
Like success as a society is top down, not bottom up.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the structure of our society is good. The rest of us prosper. So the individuals, like, gains are of a lesser importance.
Absolutely. And so what I'll put a pin in kind of like this period of the timeline to talk to you a little bit about the Terrelians from a biological perspective. So
here we go.
Terrelians are monogendered. They don't have a male and female in the species.
They're just all pointy teeth.
They all look similarly in terms of like body shape and muscle mass and reproductive organs and that kind of thing. They're all the same.
Okay.
Physically, they can vary a little bit in like size, head shape, things like height and things like that. But more or less, they're all going to look the same, except they vary wildly in color. So they can be anything from like jet black all the way to pure paper white. And anything in between. Like, you know how some dogs are like a mixture of black and white, but they've got like a stripe down their face, like connect from their forehead to their nose and patch. Like, it's almost like a mirror image. If you split them down the middle, it's like, for some reason their fur grew in symmetrically on both sides. I don't know how that happens. But the same way with Terrelians.
Are they strictly monochromatic?
They can be a combination of black and white.
Are they okay? But there's no like blues or reds.
Correct. Yeah, purely black or white. Okay. No other shades.
Okay.
And so yeah, like you can be like all gray. You can be all white with little like black markings all around you, or vice versa.
Or it can grow in a pattern that seems cogent, but there wasn't any
exactly totally random. Yeah,
just dark circles around the eyes.
Yeah, that's just how Terrelians work.
Yeah,
but every Terrelian has hard coded in their genetic composition the ability to reproduce. I think it's asexually, but it's just you just decide you like.
Oh, you decide you want a child and you make one.
You start the gestation process.
It's not through conception.
Correct. Okay, it's just you decide it.
Okay.
And an individual determines that they want to start the gestation period, and they self-fertilize. It's very weird.
So you have like within each Terrelian family, like a consistent bloodline.
Yes.
Like going all the way back. Anyone that's living, their bloodline goes crazy far back. It has to.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly like it doesn't branch.
Like
right.
DNA wise, that's cray. Like it's kind of cool.
You more or less duplicate your DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it can be different still.
Right. Like minor tweaks, but fundamentally the same. It's like how like all bananas are bananas, but they kind of look different.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
So
that's bananas.
Yeah. So anywho, when the Terrelians first met the Praetorians and they saw these communities, they saw these families living together, they saw society existing in harmony with each other, they started having a lot more children. They started birthing a lot more, because they're like, I want this thing.
Yeah.
But then, of course, no one considered the fact that there's limited space on these ships.
So, like, we're gonna have a home world, populate, but they don't have a home world.
We don't have a home world yet.
Yeah.
And so the Admiralty, they had to step in and say, hey guys, we need to pump the brakes on this.
Yeah.
We're putting limits on who can have kids. So that gets a little dicey.
Also, gosh, I'm sorry. The DNA stuff is freaking me out.
I love it. Yeah, go ahead.
Because okay, let's say all of your parentage is dead, right? Your progenitors are gone. You're the last of your bloodline, your DNA line.
Mm-hmm.
And you die, an ancient sequence of DNA is lost with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah. I like that's a huge part of why they are so, like, I don't want to say isolated, but why family and community and society is such a huge emphasis for them.
Yeah.
Because living within each Terrelian is the memories of all the ones that came before them.
To the very beginning.
Yeah. They're not. Maybe
they could go all the way back to one. Really.
To the one, yeah. And,
oh my gosh.
And maybe that's why they're not super interested in recording history, because it lives within them. It's like a part of them.
Oh yeah.
You know, I just made that up, but I think it makes sense.
Really cool.
Yeah. And so
oh man, these guys are way more interesting than I thought.
I love Terrelians, bro. They're one of my favorites. So anywho, obviously this decision to limit childbirthing, to put restrictions on it, was not met with universal acclaim.
I'm sure.
A lot of people were like, you know what, we got to do what we got to do for the good of the Great Armada. Other people were like, this is bullcrap.
all my progenitors are dead.
And
I don't reproduce on the last.
Yeah, like, and I thought we were all aiming for the same thing. We want this planet. We want this community. We want this our people to thrive.
Yeah.
But you're telling us we can't have a people.
Yeah.
And so it put a pretty big rift in the Terrelian society, and actually, kind of, this is where the sub races of Terrelians come from. So they're playable sub races.
Okay. It stemmed from this.
They stem from this decision of okay. So the Terrelians are now kind of known by two names. They're known as the Tar Raza, which is like the pure blood. I'm a pure blood Terrelian. I'm a for Admiralty, for the Great Armada, and nothing else. And then there's the Kalak, and those are the ones that are like, you know what? I need to look at my own lineage, my own family, my own importance.
Start actually
first.
looking for your own kind of your own
way in life, almost. Yeah. And
that's really interesting.
The reason why this was formed is because the Admiralty declared that anyone who had an unsanctioned child would be kicked off the fleet.
With their child?
With their child, yeah. They would be put on the first habitable homeworld, the first habitable planet. Again, not ideal for them. So they're going to be living in more or less mild discomfort at least, but all the way up to extreme pain and discomfort from being the atmospheric conditions or the proximity to the sun.
Right, they could be left off somewhere okay, or they could be left off somewhere terrible.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've already determined that very few planets exist, if any at all, exist for like that perfect condition. So none of them are really treated that well. And so,
can I ask when this happened? Was this during the current era or still before?
No, during the current era. Yeah. Okay. So after the formation of the Terrelian Union or the Terrelian Union.
Yeah. This is at least This is at least over 800 years before the first encounter.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. I'd say about 1,000 years after first encounter is when this happened, and so remember how I said Terrelians were getting scientific? Their research was driving them forward as a people. Well, these Terrelian bioengineers biology.
Did they invent?
So here's what happens.
Okay.
Here's what happened. Some of these Terrelian scientists, they figured out a way to take the DNA of other races and inject it with their own when they are creating this child. Like,
really?
So they would take DNA from Bacarians, DNA from Praetorians, DNA from Ardent, and combine it with their own and sequence it so that when they decide they wanted to birth a child, it's not pure blood Terrelian. It's a mixture.
But more adaptable.
That's the idea. Again, like we need to survive outside. And so this is kind of where this rift came from between the Tar Raza and the Kalak. The Kalak are saying this is the next evolution of Terrelian society.
Rather than trying to find a perfect planet, we need to make
one for ourselves.
Yeah.
And this is part of that. We can become an adaptable species that can thrive anywhere. We can.
Wow, that would be huge. Like if your society is all about like. Your lineage goes all the way back to the beginning of your history, far beyond what's even known and remembered. The idea of altering that DNA, you're literally altering your history.
Yeah, and it went over about as well as you'd expect.
Yeah,
some people
that would be so controversial.
Some people are on the bleeding edge of it. They said, yes, this is the future. This is the savior of the Terrelian race. We can become a species that can intermix with all the other species in the galaxy and become an integrated part of society. This is what we want. And the Tar Raza, they're saying, yes, that's what we want, but you're doing it the wrong way.
Right.
This is not how we do things.
Right.
And unfortunately, the Admiralty is run by the Tar Raza.
Oh, of course they are.
And so all of the Kalak got kicked out, and anyone who is practicing, experimenting, doing all that stuff, they get kicked off too.
And that's just the way the scientists is probably who got them into space, but it's the admirals that were like,
it's the bureaucrats.
It's ours now. Yeah.
So, that's why there are actual like visual differentiations between the Terrelians. If you're a Terrelian, you can spot them. Most of the time, it's like abnormally shorter in height, because most of the time Terrelians hang around the 6'2" range. If DNA mix with a Praetorian, you're probably looking closer to 6'5", 6'6".
Or is there any like blue in the skin?
The skin tone definitely gets different pigments. Not again,
still crazy,
very
subtle.
mild.
Okay. Stuff that like most other races wouldn't even identify.
Yeah,
but
a Brax would never be able to tell the difference without a ton of time.
But a Terrelian would be like, you are so red colored
right away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same as knowing up from down for them.
I get you.
But like if you're mixing, your teeth might be a little more rounded, not nearly as sharp.
Ooh.
Your head plating might be a little more rounded, not nearly as jagged.
Okay.
Just again, these minor little things that to a Tar Raza Terrelian would be like just disgraceful.
Yeah.
But the Kalak see it is almost like an embrace, like, oh, good for you, like you've done it.
Yeah.
And so
it's a sign of successful gene splicing.
Yeah. But the thing is, any Terrelian you see out on a planet somewhere, whether it be on an outpost or on another homeworld, like in another system, life. That's probably a Kalak. They or part of their lineage at one point probably got kicked off of the out of the Great Armada.
Okay.
And because to see a Tar Raza outside the fleet is almost unheard of.
Okay.
You just do not see that.
Yeah.
Especially unless it's like for a specific mission.
Sure.
But like if living on a planet amongst people trying to adapt, that's not the Tar Raza way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of like where we are up until this point. They're in this fractured state of
got kind of fresh.
I'd say definitely within the last 200-300 years.
Yeah. Like American age.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. Like the Kalak subrace is like the age of America.
Yeah.
Still trying to we're plucky, trying to figure out, find our way in life.
The revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so Braxton, who you met.
Yeah. Okay. Kalak then?
He is a Kalak, yep.
That makes sense.
And he has his own origin story.
But it's funny because he is still kind of like being very Terrelian in the sense that he totally owns a ship.
That's true.
Like, it's like even though he's not with the Armada, he still seems like somewhat of an admiral.
He didn't always own a ship.
Oh, really?
That's
part of his story.
Yep, that's part of his story.
Interesting.
So, okay. I don't know that I necessarily want to say it, but I know keeping it a secret doesn't impact anything at all.
Is he an Echo?
He's not an Echo. His name is Braxton.
He's got Brax blood.
He's part Brax.
I've always it's always confused me that he had that kind of close name.
Oh, I remembered who the other Terrelian you met was.
Who?
I don't remember why you met her. I think she was on. I think
mixed another race name.
I think she was on Vox Tour. Her name was Humara because she's part human.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gosh, I got a Braxy kind of vibe from him too.
Yeah. Like that was totally deliberate.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I really noted those things. Like I was like, Reed, come on, man. Like you can make whatever name you want. Why would you make one that sounds like a race?
That was deliberate.
It was so confusing for me because sometimes I'd be like, let's talk about the Braxton race. And then I'm like, wait, no. That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
I freaking love that.
Yeah. That's been my favorite little secret that I've had for a while now. I know it doesn't mean anything, and by telling you that I'm not spoiling his backstory or anything like that. But it's those secrets where I was like, I want to tell somebody because it's cool to me and I hope it's cool to them too.
Super cool, man. Yeah. So, I'm like, listen, I feel like anytime you start to explain the details of these races, the player in me is like, oh, I want to make a character. I want to play that. Bad. Yeah, I want to be it's like there's so many options. Like I could be with this kind of blood, or maybe I'm part of the Amnesty, or maybe you know what I mean? Like
So yeah, when you're a Kalak, you pick what your splice DNA is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you any additional stats yet, but it.
When I imagine
you can influence how that play style is.
Imagine it will take probably several hundred more years before the DNA sequencing starts to show
absolutely
more strongly.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So that's pretty much led us up to this point. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my theory.
Yeah. Theorize.
So my thought was when you first said that they don't know really where they came from, they've just been in space, and history's gone. And I love the idea that they haven't really had to because they've all descended from a fairly close lineage.
Mm-hmm.
But the other reason I can think of that a society wouldn't want to carry even an any kind of history, even verbally, about where they came from, is if where they came from is either something incredibly shameful or disturbing. I'm trying to think of like an example of like where like parents will like try and keep their children ignorant of something tragic or sad in order to protect them. And now I'm like, what if like the original progenitors of the Terrelians, like maybe they had a huge planet, maybe only like 3 of them got away. It really could be that way because like the way they reproduce,
right?
It could just exponentially grow. They don't really have to worry about gene degradation because there's not inbreeding because everyone is technically bred from within. So like the so yeah, but like my gut is that like there's something really, really terrible, whether their fault or that was done to them, and whoever brought them out into space refused to basically like let that history be part of their future.
That's very interesting.
And it also makes me wonder if there isn't like 1 or 2 people within the Admiralty that know what the history is.
Oh, maybe.
But it's like a really, really intense secret.
Maybe.
So
maybe just that
suspicious Josh being suspicious.
That what was that name I said earlier? Ember Siege.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that guy.
Dude. Gosh, it's so interesting. Yeah. I love this, man.
Good. I hope the audience does too, you know?
I remember when because they were one of the last races you came up with.
Yeah.
If not the last.
They were the last race, yeah, because you and I were chatting, and because I think we were probably a month or so away from like pressing record on volume 2. And I was like, what do you think? Here's all the races. You're like, I really like tieflings from...
Yes.
Because they look imposing, but they're really not that scary.
Yeah.
And I said, ooh, I like that a lot. And then the Terrelians were birthed from that.
Oh, right on. They're like the scary race that like they're not like the Bracks are the scary ones.
Oh,
like
for sure.
But the Terrelians are the ones with like really like pointy features and sharp teeth.
Yeah. They're the imposing like silhouette for sure. They look scary.
Yeah.
But they're way more likely to like convince you to hand over your credits than they are to like beat you to a pulp for them
or like eat you with their sharp teeth.
Yeah. And I think because they're so few and far between within other societies, like not the Admiralty or
not a bit of a novelty,
right? Like to see them is like, oh my gosh, like it's I know what it is, but that's terrifying. It's like a mythical creature almost.
And the fact that they like that there's such prominent figures within the Union, like that.
Co-founders,
like, like that they've had their fingers in any major galactic deal that's gone on.
Yep.
It was a really clever way, by the way. If you're outnumbered, and the Praetorians clearly have probably a stronger base, than the Terrelians do.
For sure.
Like being space bound is probably not as safe as having multiple planets you can survive on. I would imagine it was probably fairly strategic to go, we're going to make ourselves so useful that the Praetorians won't even realize that they won't be able to do anything about us eventually.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the Praetorians were probably so happy to have someone help broker deals where they could steal their planets.
Well, and you remember how Praetorians talk.
So slow.
And and I think they know how they sound to other races, but they just can't help it.
Right.
So it's like no one's going to take them seriously if they come on and be like, people of Dusan, we have a proposal for you.
Do you know what's really funny to me? So the Terrelians, right, look scary. Totally friendly to interact with. Like totally like they wear your guards down real easy.
Yep.
Praetorians are not that threatening.
No, they're not physically.
Like almost seem like I could run away if I need to. Like at the same time, like I feel like by the time they become violent, you're already too close. Like they've already got their arm wrapped around you, and before they start gripping, you know what I mean. Like the
way I look at the Praetorians is they're like the mafia.
Yeah,
it's like from a distance you're like, oh, those are just like regular people, like regular just guys being dudes.
Just isn't this great?
And but it's only once you get up close and you're totally within, like you said, that their arm's length, that you're like, oh, these guys are actually really violent and really prone to anger and outbursts, and they don't care like who they
fairly greedy.
Yeah, super greedy. It's like they see every little ounce of land as their land.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I need to get away. Oh crap, I'm surrounded. Oh crap, they're all right here.
You ever heard of like the frog boiling in water?
Right. Yeah.
It's like
they don't know they're dying.
The Praetorians feel like water that slowly gets warmer, so slowly that you never realize you're boiling until your skin's falling off.
That is a fact.
Dang. Whereas the Brax are like, I'm gonna spray hot water in your face.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, hi, my name is so. Oh, why'd you throw scalding water at me?
I'm interested because listen, races aren't defined by how dangerous they are, but clearly, several of the races have not really shown themselves on the galactic scene to be as subtle or openly hostile as those three. As the Brax, the Terrelian, and the Praetorian.
Yeah. The Praetorians, a lot of infighting. Of infighting. We can talk about the Praetorians.
Very bureaucratic?
No.
Okay.
Violent infighting.
Okay.
They do have the mentality of all land is my land.
Oh, I guess if that's like, if it starts interpersonally.
Right. Of course. Now, what's to say your land isn't my land and my land isn't your land, Josh? And now, even though we're both humans, we want to kill each other over our little slice of paradise. And, And so a lot of that happened. I think they might have a more tumultuous history than the Brax.
Interesting.
In terms of infighting.
In that comparison, the Brax are like angels. Like they love their society and are super like kinship bound.
For the most part.
Yeah, like generally. I mean, you got the
mountain Brax.
The mountain Brax, the starts with a G. Why can't I remember? I have it written down somewhere. But the one that Lucky is
Daglar.
Yeah. They're super aggressive, but like even then they have families. Yep. They like settle down and they're not as possessive. I don't think.
The Brax are the only species to really go on a galactic like
killing spree.
The Praetorians do it all within their system,
just like and really slowly.
Yep. Yeah. Like wars that last 120 years type stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. That's and
the Terrelians have probably a fair amount of atrocities under their belt, but on the galactic scene, you don't even notice it.
Right. And I mean, the Terrelians are the people convincing these other species, hey, you should probably go to war with these guys.
Oh gosh,
that's the
They're
Terrelian.
Dropping mental bombs left and right. They're like that Praetorian over there reminds me of your father. And, you know what I mean?
And that's all it takes.
Yeah. And they leave the room. Wait, what? I had a great dad.
Yep, that's kind of that's a very good picture of the galaxy at large. Those three interactions right there. We will talk about the Praetorians and most of the other races at a later time, but that's going to do it for this history of the Terrelians.
Woo!
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's long. It's just us talking, but I hope it's entertaining content and it's stuff that helps reinforce the decisions and the motivations for some of the characters you've met, some of the characters you will meet, and really just help give a little bit more richness to the world of Volume 2.
I want to know what kind of Terrelian you would make, people who are listening.
Ooh, yeah. Not really a comment section, but you can write us on Twitter.
Yeah, or do a blog on the website. Create a blog post.
Create a blog post.
Like here's what my Terrelian would be. It would be a Kalak with. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
With art and blood.
Ooh,
and
that'd be wild.
He'd be an inventor, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like do something like that. I'm just saying. I'd love to hear all the different because there's so many combinations. I want to hear. What people would make.
So go do your thing. Appreciate you guys very much. We're only a couple weeks away from the premiere season 3, so
let's go.
Stay looking for that. And but yeah, the last thing before season 3 kicks off is we've got Chip's character episode, and I know I'm hyping it a lot. I've said it plenty of times, but it's very good. It's very good. So appreciate you guys like crazy. My name's Reed. I'm the host, the game master, and just general tour guide along this journey. To my left, we have
Josh. I just killed a fly.
Way to go, Josh.
This was a great journey, Reed. Thank you for guiding us.
It all culminated with this momentous moment.
Fly killing.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.